Dreamer by Ozzy Osbourne is a quiet conversation with the future. While most know Ozzy as the Prince of Darkness, here he drops the theatrics and asks the questions we all think about. Will we ever stop repeating the same mistakes? Can humanity finally learn to live in peace? This isn't a metal anthem. It's a tired but hopeful sigh from a man who's seen decades of chaos and still dares to imagine something better. So let's talk about why this song hits differently now than it did 20 years ago, and why its message might be more urgent than ever. In the first verse, the lyrics paint a picture of someone looking out at the world with a mix of concern and hope. The opening line, gazing through the window at the world outside, suggests a sense of detachment, like the speaker is observing the world from a distance, almost as if they feel powerless or disconnected from what's happening. It's a quiet, reflective moment, like staring out a window, lost in thought. The next line, wondering, will Mother Earth survive, shifts the focus to the planet itself, personifying Earth as a mother figure. This makes the concern feel more personal. It's not just about the environment in a general sense, but about the survival of something nurturing and vital. The use of a Mother Earth also ties into a long tradition of seeing nature as a life-giving force, which makes the idea of her struggling even more emotional. Then comes hoping that mankind will stop abusing her sometime. Here, the speaker's worry turns into a plea. The word abusing is strong. It frames humanity's treatment of the planet as harmful, even violent. It's not just neglect or ignorance, it's active destruction. Yet, there's still hope in the word sometime, like the speaker believes change is possible even if it hasn't happened yet. The last line, after all, she's our only friend, reinforces the idea that Earth is not just a resource, but an ally, the only one we have. This makes the earlier lines even heavier because if we lose her, we lose everything. There's a loneliness in that thought, like realizing too late how much we depend on something we've taken for granted. Overall, this verse blends worry, guilt, and a fragile sense of hope. It's a quiet but powerful reflection on humanity's relationship with the planet, written in a way that feels personal and urgent. In the second verse, Ozzy Osbourne zooms in on the relationship between humanity and the earth, framing it as a lonely, fragile bond. The line, after all, there's only just the two of us, makes it feel like the planet and its people are the last ones standing, almost like a pair of survivors in a world where everything else has faded away. It creates this intimate, almost desperate connection as if we're stuck together for better or worse. The next line, and here we are still fighting for our lives, takes that idea further. It's not just about the earth suffering, it's about us struggling too. The word fighting suggests an ongoing battle, like we're caught in a cycle of survival instead of thriving. It's also interesting that it says our lives, not just the planet's, but ours too. This ties back to the first verse's idea that harming the earth means harming ourselves, whether we realize it or not. Finally, watching all of history repeat itself time after time hits hard because it feels like we're stuck in a loop. Instead of learning from past mistakes, we keep making them generation after generation. There's a sense of frustration here, like the speaker is tired of seeing the same destructive patterns play out over and over. It's not just about environmental damage. It could also apply to war, greed, or any human flaw that keeps leading us down the same dark path. This verse deepens the song's theme of struggle and lost chances. It's like Ozzy is saying, we're all we've got, and yet we still can't get it right. There's sadness in that, but also a quiet call to wake up before it's too late. The chorus is where the song's emotional core really comes through. Simple but heavy. When Ozzy sings, I'm just a dreamer, I dream my life away, it feels like a confession. Calling himself just a dreamer makes it sound like he's almost apologizing, as if dreaming is something passive or naive. There's a sense of resignation here, like he's stuck in his own head, watching the world go by instead of being able to change it. The phrase, dream my life away, adds to that. It's bittersweet, like time is passing while he's lost in thought, wishing things were different but not knowing how to fix them. Then comes, I'm just a dreamer who dreams of better days. This line shifts slightly from sadness to hope. Even though he's calling himself just a dreamer again, the focus is now on what he's dreaming of, better days. It's not just empty fantasy. It's a longing for something real, something brighter. But there's also a quiet frustration here because dreaming alone doesn't make those better days happen. It's like he's caught between wanting change and feeling powerless to create it. What's interesting is how this chorus ties back to the verses. The verses are about watching the world suffer, environmental destruction, endless cycles of human mistakes, and the chorus is the emotional reaction to that. Ozzy isn't shouting in anger or preaching solutions. He's just admitting that all he can do right now is dream of a world where things improve. It's relatable because, on some level, everyone feels that way sometimes, like the problems are too big and all we have is hope. The repetition of, I'm just a dreamer, makes it feel like a mantra, almost as if he's trying to accept his own powerlessness. But at the same time, dreaming isn't entirely worthless. It's the first step toward imagining a different future. So, while the tone is melancholic, there's still a spark of something underneath, a refusal to completely give up. It's a humble, human way of dealing with the weight of the world. In verse 3, Ozzy captures a quiet moment of reflection that feels both personal and universal. The opening line, I watch the sun go down like every one of us, immediately creates a sense of shared experience. We all witness the same cycles of day and night, the same passage of time. But there's something deeper here too. The sunset could symbolize endings, decline, or even the slow fading of hope. Yet, the fact that everyone sees it suggests we're all in this together, whether we realize it or not. It's a subtle reminder of our collective humanity in the face of bigger problems. When he sings, I'm hoping that the dawn will bring a sign, that glimmer of hope returns. Dawn usually symbolizes new beginnings, but Ozzy doesn't outright say things will get better. He just hopes for a sign, a small indication that change is coming. It's a humble wish, not a demand, which makes it feel vulnerable. He's not pretending to have answers. He's just waiting, watching, and holding on to the possibility that tomorrow might be different. The last line, a better place for those who will come after us this time, shifts the focus from the present to the future, specifically to the next generation. The phrase, this time, stands out because it suggests past failures. It's as if humanity has had countless chances to fix things but keeps falling short, and now he's pleading for just one time where we actually leave something good behind. There's a selflessness in this too. He's not asking for a better world for himself. He's thinking about those who'll inherit the earth long after he's gone. This verse ties back to the song's larger theme of feeling stuck between despair and hope. Ozzy isn't raging against the world's problems. He's observing them with a wary but tender heart. The sunset and dawn imagery creates a cycle, endings and beginnings, darkness and light, mirroring the song's earlier themes of history repeating itself. But there's a quiet determination here too. Even if he's just a dreamer, he's still hoping, still holding space for the idea that things might turn out differently this time. It's a small but powerful act of faith in the future. The bridge takes the song's themes and pushes them into more philosophical territory while keeping that same mix of wariness and hope. When Ozzy sings, your higher power may be God or Jesus Christ, it doesn't really matter much to me. He's making a deliberate point about unity over division. In an era where religious differences often cause conflict, he's saying the specific belief doesn't matter as much as the shared human experience. It's a radical statement of tolerance. What matters isn't who or what you worship, but how we treat each other right here on earth. The line, without each other's help, there ain't no hope for us, cuts straight to the heart of the song's message. After verses full of observation and choruses about dreaming, this is the blunt truth. We're all we've got. That word help is crucial. It's not about grand gestures or world leaders fixing everything, but about ordinary people choosing to support one another. The grammar here is intentionally rough. Ain't no hope, giving it a working class, no nonsense feel that matches Ozzy's blue collar rock roots. When he admits, I'm living in a dream of fantasy, it's both a confession and a lament. After the hopefulness of earlier verses, this line acknowledges how naive optimism might seem when faced with the world's problems. That word, fantasy, suggests he knows dreaming isn't enough, but the fact he's still doing it anyway makes the statement bittersweet rather than cynical. The trailing, oh yeah, 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 feels like a sigh, like he's shaking his head at his own stubborn hope in the face of reality. What makes this bridge powerful is how it connects the personal and the global. The first two lines address big philosophical questions about belief. The next two zoom in on human connection, and the final line brings it back to the individual, Ozzy himself, still dreaming despite everything. It's the moment in the song where he stops just observing the world's problems and starts pointing toward what might actually help, setting aside differences and working together. Even if he frames it as a fantasy, there's something quietly revolutionary about daring to imagine that kind of unity. In verse 4, Ozzy strips away the environmental concerns from earlier verses and zeroes in on the human condition with heartbreaking simplicity. The opening line, if only we could all just find serenity, feels like a sigh, not some grand political solution, but just a basic wish for inner peace that could ripple outward. That word, serenity, is telling. It's not about excitement or passion, but quiet calm, suggesting that much of humanity's problems stem from our inability to just be without conflict. The if only makes it painfully clear how out of reach this simple state feels. When he follows with, "It would be nice if we could live as one." There's a deliberate plainness to the phrasing that makes it land harder. He's not preaching unity with flowery language, just calling it nice, like the most obvious, basic thing we're somehow incapable of achieving. The childlike simplicity of "live as one" contrasts sharply with the complex divisions of the real world, highlighting how absurd it is that such a fundamental concept remains impossible. You can almost hear the shrug in "it would be nice," the understatement of someone who's seen too much to believe it'll happen. The direct question, "when will all this anger, hate, and bigotry be gone?" hits like a hammer. After the wistful tone of the first two lines, this is raw frustration bleeding through. Ozzy doesn't soften it with metaphors. He names the demons outright: anger, hate, bigotry. The progression is interesting too, moving from the general anger to the specific bigotry, showing these aren't abstract concepts but real daily poisons. That word "when" is crucial. It's not if, but when, maintaining that stubborn hope while acknowledging how long we've been waiting. The line hangs in the air like a challenge demanding an answer the world still can't provide. What makes this verse particularly powerful is its shift from the planetary concerns of earlier verses to human nature itself. After worrying about Earth's survival, Ozzy realizes our social diseases might be the root cause. There's profound tiredness here, not the dramatic exhaustion of metal, but the deep weariness of someone who's watched the same stupid hatreds cycle through generations. Yet even as he lists our failings, the verse structure moves from dreamy "if only" to determined "when," showing that beneath the fatigue, the dream of something better still flickers. It's the most direct plea in the song, laid bare without poetic camouflage. Just a man asking, "when we'll finally grow up."